Shalom, Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM, Quadash, Devil honest, the elders and apostles, great millstone, and Shalom to my Akim Wathim, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this power captivity. This is Brother Kawakab coming at you with no lesson. Romans chapter 3, verse 1. What advantage then hath the Jew, or what profit is there of circumcision? So basically, today's lesson we're going to be talking about what advantage is there to being an Israelite, or so basically, inspiration to this lesson, comes from, I forgot what video it was, but it's just another Christian basically saying that there is universalism. There's nothing that comes with being a Jew. Being a Jew is just like everyone else and whatnot. But we don't really. Well, I mean, I guess Jew is short for Judah, but it's not. And I probably shouldn't be using that term so lightly. So I'm gonna be changing it. Yahawadah, this video does not get taken down because I didn't say anything bad about them. But the main thing is just that there are advantages to being an Israelite. All right. So as a result of that, the main thing is I'm gonna actually go into these advantages and actually attempt to give the understanding. All right. Oh, frick! I just remembered more precepts. Bear with me. I don't know why I didn't get this before. Slakia, give me a moment. I want to get these done. Okay, so Slakia, first things first. Let's get this verse back in Romans 3 verse 2. Much every way chiefly because that unto them were committed the oracles of Yahawah. For what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of Yahawah without effect? Well, that's basically it. Verse 2 is the main thing where it says in every way, basically in every way. All right. Now let's actually get into some of these precepts to better understand that. So first things first, Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Slakia, let me a quick side rant, okay? Because many brothers have brought this up as well, and I guess this kind of angers me. Myself when I hear about this whole universalism and stuff like that. You have people that believe in universalism, but at the same time, it's like all the Israelites had to go through the curses, but none of the other nations, all the other heathen nations or the non-Israelite nations, they don't need to go through the curses. They only qualify for the blessings. That's basically what they say with universalism, and it's unfair that we had to go through hardcore bondage and all this stuff, and Esau never shows any sign of repentance or considering rectifying the evil that he's done to us, but yet he still qualified. Edomites and Jake and whatnot, they still keep on saying that Esau qualifies for salvation when let me get that Slack and bear with me one moment. Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes chapter 4 verse 1. So I returned and considered all the oppression that are done under the sun, and behold, the tears of such as were oppressed, and they had no comforter. And on the side of the oppressors there was power, but they had no comforter, because they don't need a comforter. They don't have, we in our captivity, we don't have a comforter yet. We're waiting for Yahawashi to deliver us, okay, as Yahawashi is our comforter. But Esau, he doesn't have a comforter because he's the oppressor. Like, what does he need to be comforted from? From the power trip that he's on, where he where he shows no signs of remorse, and he's gonna keep on going with the same thing over and over again. If the Lord gave him the opportunity to, all right. So it's just like, how are we being so dishonest and unfair in saying that Esau needs comfort, Esau needs salvation, when he is the one ruling right now and making life terrible, not just for us, but for him and other nations as well. All right, so that's how things are right now, and it's comedic how people want to disregard facts, and as well as just plain common sense. Okay, like you're putting all the moral quandaries on us rather than the simple solution of restoring us if he actually considered us a brother, which he doesn't, which we're not supposed to be considering him our brother, because he is not our brother through the spirit and power of YAHAWASHI, according to the words of YAHAWAH, which let's prove that. All right, because you have fucking devils, Jake and Edomites, that will say, oh, he's our brother, or Esau's Jacob's brother. Let me get this. It is Matthew chapter 12 verse 50. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother. Okay, so Yahawashi is saying that whoever does the will of Yahawashi, okay, whoever follows sincerely after the words of Yahawashi is his sister, mother, brother, okay, because we have our Heavenly Father. All right, so yeah, that was just something that I wanted to kind of prove and show, because that was a big thing. So going back to the whole advantages of being an Israelite, okay. Shit, that's not what I wanted. First, let's start here. Hebrews chapter 8, verse 13. In that he saith, a new covenant he hath made, the first old. Now that which decayeth and waxeth old is ready to vanish away. Verse 14. Let me start at verse 10. Slock you. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those. Hold on. Slock you, bear with me one moment. I'm going to be jumping around. Okay, Hebrews chapter 8, verse 8. For finding fault with them, he saith, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. Now according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant and regarded them not, saith the Lord. So first things first, then there's the old covenant with Moses, okay, and then there's going to be the new covenant, okay, which is with Yahawashi being the mediator of the new covenant, and this plainly says, okay, that it is the house of Israel and the house of Judah, so northern kingdom and southern kingdom. All right, this is very clearly the new covenant defined. All right. Now next, let me see. We don't need to go into those details, but basically, let's go into these details. So verse 10, for this is the new covenant I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith the Lord, I will put my laws in their minds and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a power, and they shall be to me a people, and they shall not teach every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord, for all shall know me from the least to the greatest. Okay, so this is another thing where a part of being in the new covenant, we will basically be perfect. All right, we're gonna have a law in our inward parts, and we're going to intrinsically just always do whatever that pertaineth to the law. Okay, in addition to that, we're not going to sin anymore. And another thing I want to get to support this is Micah, I believe it's 4. It's 4. Micah chapter 4. From the top, but in the last days it shall come to pass that that mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow into it, onto it. So this is another thing. In the last days, that's where the Israelites are going to be at the top. They're going to be, the number one government. All right, ruling with Yahawashi basically ruling at the very top. Okay, which that's going to be the hierarchy, which it's carnally, it's going to be Yahawashi, then it's going to be the Israelites. Okay, then it's going to be all the other nations except for Esau, Edom, and then it's going to be Esau, Edom, because in reference to Obadiah verse 18, Esau, Edom is going to be completely and utterly wiped out. All right, so yeah, that's basically the hierarchy where it's Yahawashi again, us Israelites, and then the other nations. All right, that's basically the hierarchy, and this is again another advantage to being an Israelite. Okay, verse 2, and many nations shall come and say, come and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths, for the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Okay, so that's another thing where all the other nations, they're going to teach us. Okay, Salakia, that is not true. I meant to say we're going to teach the other nations, all the proper ways of living and stuff like that. All right, but even then, it's going to be a bit more free, if you will, I guess, because it's not going to be like we're not going to like police anyone, because like in a sense, all right, I'm trying my best to pick my words properly, because I might not be describing it in the best way or articulating it better ideally. So basically, just in general, they're going to learn, they're going to follow after our ways. All right, and the thing is that, I guess, to better describe it, I would say, like, there's not going to be any like homelessness and stuff like that. Like, there's going to be a better not just economic system, but in social system or system in general. All right, where there's not going to be any people like being miserable, depressed, and stuff like that. Like, because the stuff is like when there's a righteous ruler, which is going to be Yahawashi. Okay, everyone's going to have either enough or have a surplus, especially if you are an Israelite. All right, let me get this to prove that. John chapter 14, verse 2. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you, I go to prepare a place for you. And, this is, one of the verses that I love to use in order to kind of paint the picture of how blessed we're going to be, because it says house. In a house, there's mansions, and you know that. And you should know mansions are bigger than houses, and the house of the Lord is just that big. All right, just that big. And the thing to understand is that even a mansion, a singular mansion, is very big. And if you are a nuclear family, just say for the sake of argument, you are a husband and a wife with one kid. Okay, even a mansion is too big for that one singular nuclear family. Okay, like mansions are more so for like extended families and stuff like that, with all the space that it has. And it says, and we're not going to be getting those basic ass. What the fuck was that? We're not going to be getting those basic ass small mansions. We're going to be getting even bigger mansions. Okay, things are going to be even bigger than what you could ever think. All right, as a matter of fact, let's get that. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 17. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding eternal weight of glory, while we look not things with it. So yeah, that's basically it. Verse 17, where the affliction that we're going through now, it's being referred to as light. But of course, it's not light. So some of us might be going through some very hard stuff. Okay, homelessness or whatever. Okay, that's just one example. But in general, if you compare like being tortured or whatever and translate that to something good, it's going to be way more than you could ever hope for and imagine. All right. So yes, these are the advantages these are part of the advantages of being an Israelite. All right. This is what's promised to us. And then on top of that, we're going to be perfect. And we also get this. 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Verse 50. Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of Yahawah, neither doeth corruption inherit incorruption. Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. The last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. Okay. Verse 53, for this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So basically, we're gonna have immortal bodies. We're gonna have perfect bodies. We're gonna be perfect. All right, and this is another amazing, beautiful thing that we look forward to. Okay, where it's not just in material things, all right, but it's also in through our physical bodies, where we are going to we're not going to cry, we're not going to be sad, we're not going to need to defecate, okay, pee, all that stuff, clip our toenails, comb our hairs, and all that stuff. We're just going to be internally perfect and whatnot. All right, this is real stuff. Okay, on top of that, spiritual power, but we're not going to get into that right now. I already did a lesson on that, I believe, a few days ago or something like that. I don't know. Continuing on. All right, let's read both of them actually. Matthew chapter 5, verse 5. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the kingdom of earth. But Psalm chapter 37, verse 11. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. Okay, in the abundance. Okay, there's going to be an abundance. Do you know what abundance mean? Okay, basically means more. I would get the definition, but you can just get it yourself. abundance is like more than you need, where it's like surplus or whatever. That's another synonym. All right, where we are going to have everything and more than we could ever want. And we're not going to be needing to work 25 hours a day in order to make ends meet. All right, or 26 hours, whatever. You get the point. All right, like it's hard out here. It's tough. It's tough. But yeah, like that's just the thing. And we are at the bottom. It's what we us Israelites are at the bottom, and it just never gets easier for us. So that's why the Lord's going to put the people that are at last place as first place. And that's another thing, Slakia, where there's so many scriptures that basically show this type of stuff, that show that universalism is not a thing. Like the Lord made these type of stuff. And again, like if Esau actually was sincere, he would have made things right, but he didn't. Okay, and that's fine. That's fine, because that just goes to show the judgment that's going to be coming on to him. Okay, Lord made this devil to be evil, but yet so many Jake just wants to justify and defend him. Okay, they are more worried about Esau getting salvation rather than them getting their own salvation. They don't have. You have poor ass Jakes. It's like you have poor ass Jakes that are more worried about a rich white man, all right, so-called white man, getting into the kingdom of heaven before him. All right, that's that crazy ass Stockholm syndrome. All right. Daniel chapter 7, I should have got this earlier, but whatever. Daniel chapter 7 verse 14, and there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. Okay, so that's another thing where Yahawashai's dominion is going to be permanent. He's the last king, the last and the greatest king, all right, the true king of the world, basically, or the earth, the cosmos. I don't know whatever term you want to use, but just in general, he is going to rule, and he's never going to expire for lack of a better term. All right, just going to be him. Psalm chapter 147 verse 20, he had not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. Okay, other nations have not known this. Let's just read it actually. Verse 19, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Okay, so only the Israelites know about his words, his statutes, and judgments. Okay, but the other nations have not known them. So why? Like, that's the thing. Like, you listen. Like, this is an example that our brother had used before. I believe it was Elder Apostle Aram Lob had said this, and I have to use it as well, because it's a very good analogy. And it's like, say I have a child, right? I have a child, and my child basically does something wrong to me, all right? And then I say, okay, you're on punishment. And that child, he's on punishment for a year or so, okay? Then some random kid that we don't know, all right, comes and says, hey, I want to be a part of this. I want your inheritance. And then I just give that new kid that is not my son, that's not my kid, I don't know him, okay? I just give him my inheritance. I give him everything, or I make him, I split my inheritance. I split my wealth between the two of them, even though my kid, whom is my blood child, he was a part of the things. And I actually dealt with him. I actually taught him stuff, and I'm giving him the good. I gave him the good, and he was there for the bad as well. But then this new kid literally just comes and he just expects to he just expects to get something, even though I didn't invite him, I didn't call him, I don't even know him. He literally just trying to insert himself into my wealth. That's literally stealing. He's literally just trying to steal from me. Like, there's no nice way, there's no other way to explain it. Like, that's just straight up theft. All right, so it's very unfair and it's very ridiculous that you have the Israelites who have been with YAHAWASHI, who have been following and been dealing with the judgments, all right, of YAHAWASHI, okay, and then you have these other nations that just say, "Oh, I want to be a part of it too. I just want to let me get the inheritance of your heavenly Father," just because, all right, it's ridiculous. I'm going to have to hurry up because my battery's dying. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 1 verse 42. Need two more, I believe. Yeah, two more. Deuteronomy chapter 1 verse 42. And the Lord said unto me, say unto them, go not up, neither fight, for I am not among you, lest ye be smitten before your enemies. And the Israelites had went up and fought against their enemies. And oftentimes not oftentimes, but most times, I'll say 99.9% of the times, whenever the Lord is not with us, then we basically suffer as a result of it. We lose. We are basically turned into. We're basically turned into. We're basically turned into incapable people, invalids and whatnot. For lack of a better term, because the Lord, our power comes from our power, which is YAHAWASHI. He is what makes us great, and it's through Him, all right, that we are able to win fights. Let me actually get two examples, and then I'll close it out. Joshua chapter 10 verse 11. And it came to pass, as they fled from before Israel and were in the going down to Beth-horon, that the Lord cast down great stones from heaven upon them unto Azekah, and they died, and they were more which died with hailstones than they whom the children of Israel slew with the sword. All right, so the Lord killed more people with the hailstones from heaven rather than letting the Israelites kill them through their swords and through battle. All right, that's another example of, we wouldn't be able to win a fight without YAHAWASHI. And this final example, 2 Samuel chapter 18 verse 8. For the battle was there scattered over the face of this country, and the wood devoured more people that day than the sword devoured. All right, so yes, and just another example. Let me end it off with this. Numbers chapter 26 verse 10. And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up together with Korah when that company died, what time the fire devoured 250 men, and they became a sign. It's lucky this is the last thing, I have to go. Basically what happened here is that the Israelites, they were getting on the Lord's nerve. And the Lord was like, okay, so you guys want to go against Moses? You guys want to go against me? Then He basically opened the earth, literally just like crack open the earth. And then the Israelites, the 250 men, they fell into the earth and literally just got ate by the earth. Like the Lord literally killed them like that, like through that divine special means. All right. So with that, that's another way where, the Lord, has that special relationship in terms of especially whooping Israelites' asses. Okay. So with that, or Jake's asses. So with that, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Wakwakwadosh, I was an apostle's great millstone, Ababa Ball, and Shalom.